Hello, Internet, and welcome to Red Jenny. We are so excited to be back here once again on a Monday night for our Dragon Age DTRPG. Thank you for joining us this lovely evening. Happy Martin Luther King Day for all of you out there. We are here to play some games and have some fun in a game that will be much less traumatic, hopefully, today than it has been in weeks past. We will see. Unpacking a lot of drama today. But before we get started, I'll go ahead and plug what we've got going on the channel this week. Our next regularly scheduled stream after this one will be tomorrow for Tabletop Tuesdays. I believe they are finishing up their Monster of the Week game and moving over to and gonna be moving back over to what's the Masks?
Squire Squad.
Mm-hmm. Squire Squad. I think that's the plan. That's the last thing I heard. So somebody will, I'm sure, correct me. But join them tomorrow at 7:00 Eastern time for that. And you can see whatever they're going to be up to because it's going to be great. So they're a good crew over there. We will have the regularly scheduled streams otherwise this week, barring any unforeseen illnesses and other just happenstance. But we've got lots of shows for you to join. If you want to see the full lineup of the shows that we offer on this channel, you can look below our faces and you can see the full roster or our full schedule there. And if you want to stay up to date on new things happening or in any other unplanned streams, like when I randomly decide to start a Pokemon Nuzlocke, you can join our Discord, which is also linked below our faces, and see whatever we're going live. I started today. I started an Omega Ruby Nuzlocke. Had to wipe within the first 10 minutes and started over again.
R.I.P. Hot Wings.
Hot Wings.
No, I was getting my hair done. I missed it.
Hot Wings died in my first rival battle.
I was so sad
because I did a goof and forgot to heal before going into that battle. So yeah, that was fun. But we're going strong right now with the squad. I might do a little bit more of that tomorrow, or at least later in this week, if you want to come join us for that. So that's what we've got going on the channel. I'm going to go ahead and let my lovely players here introduce themselves, talk about who they are, what they do on and off this channel, and who they are playing tonight, starting with Venn.
That's me. Hi, I'm Van. You can find me on the internet at Savvy Seaworth, pretty much wherever you can find people on the internet. I'm on Hive Social, I'm on Instagram, but mostly I hang out in the GGK Discord, which is linked below and is also linked in the chat currently. And yeah, I'm mostly here on Twitch Thursdays through Mondays, either playing in games or running them. Guess what, motherfuckers? Saturday morning, get ready. Strixhaven is back with the full squad, and we're doing what I'm calling the Winterlude. And I'm extremely proud of that. Came up with it on the spot last time. That's what we're doing. We're doing a little bit of interlude. We're going to formally bringing Damien into the party for good. Yeah, when I'm not here on Sunday nights, you can find me on twitch.tv/lbhackemup for the next few weeks playing Monster of the Week, which I'm very excited about. Tonight I am playing Venehn, who is an elven rogue, the blondest one in the party. I'm slowly becoming him.
Slowly but surely. Speaking of trauma, that's me. Hey, I'm Christina Sid. You can find me on Hive Social and Twitter and Instagram, all at Greek Sid. I am here on GGK Thursdays through Mondays. I run our game of Monster of the Week on Thursdays at 7:00 Eastern. We're in the final mystery, friends. We're gonna save the universe, the multiverse, the existence. Yeah, you know, I like to heighten the stakes a little bit. So, yeah, come check that out. Otherwise, lots of fun stuff, including this game. You found us here on Mondays. Speaking of, tonight I'm playing Yasmera. She's a Kunari rogue and the tallest one in the party.
Speaking of the tallest one in the party, sup y'all, it's me, Wally, your favorite non-binary slime best friend on the internet. You can find me pretty much here Mondays through Saturdays playing some games on these channels that where all the games were already mentioned. I'm in other places. Just follow me on Twitter and on my other socials, WALE, like the cute little Disney robot. You can follow me there. Or you can just join the GGK Discord and see me just post random GIFs and memes, because that's always fun to see. Today, I am playing Garas, the only rogue with one eye.
And that leaves me. Hi, everybody. I'm John Cita. You can find me most places on the internet as Mr. Wilt. You can also head over to Instagram and find me at john.cita and look at the chicken fajitas that I posted on there the other day, because I am that kind of Instagrammer. If you're not much on the internet, I guess if you're not much on the internet, I don't know what you're doing here. But if you don't feel like getting on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, you could probably find me at the bottom of a bag of Five Guys, just rolling around there with all the extra fries. Make sure to get the extra fry sauce, though, man. I love that shit. Tonight, I will be playing Carter, Human Mage, and the Humaniest in the group.
All of these were accurate. Hi, everybody. I'm Val. You can find me at the Kraken's Crown, lurking around the internet. I'm here Thursdays through Mondays playing running games. Other than this game, on Mondays, on Saturdays, I run a game called Ward 47, where we play a system called Parselings, where you use cards instead of dice to tell a story. It's very fun, and this Saturday will be our season 1 finale. So it'll be suitably dramatic, and we recommend that you come and join us at 5 o'clock Eastern time for that Saturday. I'm gonna go ahead and get us started if y'all are ready. Let's do a bit of a recap. A lot happened last week. Previously on Red Jenny, your crew finally escaped from the Fade. Venehn having to confront an apparition, a spirit or a demon of some kind that was latching on to some of his deepest fears. You finally emerged after a tearful farewell with Eckert back into the White Circle, the White Spire, where the Mage Circle was under siege by the Fade and their former Grand Enchanter. You finally reached the Forge, where you had been trying to get to to finish out your job, and it was there that Teresa, the Venatori master to your good friend Ty, was attempting some sort of spell to fix or reactivate an ancient elven portal, a mirror called an Alluvian. You did battle with Teresa and a ogre darkspawn that was under her at least influence or maybe even control. The fight went pretty bad for most of it. Most of you getting very injured. Teresa conjuring fire from the Fade and scorching many of you very badly. The fight turned when Ty took control of the ogre and bought you a few moments to finally deal with Teresa, and you were able to finally take her down, ending her spell and destroying the Alluvian in the process. with her last dying breaths, Teresa alluded to some sort of connection that she had with this architect, and that she was attempting to save, through her efforts, save the world, or save Thetis from the blight. You didn't really get much more explanation from her than that, those cryptic words, before she finally passed, succumbing to her injuries. Before you were able to escape, however, you looted the best you could, gathered the blueprints that you needed, and attempted to leave as the Templars arrived. The Night Vigilant and a small retinue of Templars bursting up into the forge as well, attempted to arrest you. However, you, through some magic and Lucia standing fast against her superior, the rest of you fled, making your way out of the tower before you were eventually overwhelmed by the sheer number of Templars outside. But before they could arrest you, before they could enact any sort of punishment against you, the Seekers arrived, along with the Divine herself, Divine Hortensia II. She gave a sort of a proclamation that the rite of annulment that had been enacted by the Templars would be redacted, and those that were in the tower were to be spared along with yourselves. The tension seeming to remain, however, unable to do anything else, the Night Vigilant let you all go and spared the Circle Mages who were currently under arrest. You all fled, unfortunately having to leave Lucia behind to face whatever punishment she would from the Templar Order, and returned back to the Unnamed Tavern, where it was there that you finally reconnected with your employer, Arlo, and began to advise.
Don't forget that Wolf was also there.
Oh
Wolf,
yeah, sorry.
Wolf was there.
Wolf was also
We
there.
heard Wolf talk for the first time.
Yes,
It was great.
you did. Made Yaz's day. You were, and you began to tell Arlo exactly what had transpired. So that's kind of where we're picking up today. So a couple of things as we get started. One is y'all all leveled up last time. And so I believe the whole crew is at level 4. Does anybody need to go over any of the fun stuff? That I think mostly y'all all gained the same things because 3 of you are rogues and are still getting the same stuff. But at level 4, the first thing you get is your new ability, your new class power, which is Bluff. We're going over the rogues first, then we'll go over the mage. But you can backstab an opponent by succeeding on a deception check over their self-discipline, and get a little bit of additional bonuses from that as well.
For those at home, the reason that's cool is because with regular backstab, you have to not start your turn adjacent to them. You have to move into them. This one lets you start your turn adjacent to somebody and try to feint them to get a backstab.
So that's pretty cool.
That's the part I did have time to read.
The other things you'll get as normal, as with every level, you'll gain additional hit points. It's 1d6 plus your constitution. So you add those to your max and current HP. You'll get an advancement to spend on an ability. Since this is an even number level, you'll spend it on one of your primary abilities. As a rogue, your primary abilities are communication, dexterity, and perception. As a mage, your primary abilities are cunning, magic, and willpower. So you'll spend 1 point either to get it something up to 5. If you're trying to go over 5, then you need to start banking those points to bump it higher. You also will get a new ability, Focus. Again, this will be for one of your primary abilities. So the focuses are all listed in Chapter 3. And you can pick one of your you can pick a new focus in any of your current or any of your skills.
Does anybody have that page number?
I can grab it.
If not, I can go in them.
It's 56. Yeah, 56.
Perfect, thank you.
Is where they start. And then the class power, which I forgot to say, the class power for the mage at level 4 is you get a new spell, and you get the ability Spell Lance. So you can cast a spell after hitting a foe with your arcane lance as a stunt. So that's pretty cool. You can use your arcane lance and then use that to kind of springboard into a spell if you choose to. Very cool. Anything we need to go over other than that? Okay. Yeah.
I can
awesome.
take pockets.
So,
All good now.
yeah, you took Ledger Domain.
Mhm.
I can put on a mask better.
You got Disguise, right?
I took Deception.
You took Deception. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to see everybody's improving, learning from your recent misadventures. All right. So, kind of where I want to pick up today. This is going to be an interlude session for those out there watching. It's going to be a lot of role play. Where I want to start is with this meeting with Arlo, as we kind of like confirm like where we're at in the plan and what the next steps are going to be. And then there's going to be a period of about 2 weeks where y'all are going to have time to like meet up with each other, have some scenes, do some prep work, all that before we lead into the next part of the job. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you're all currently drinking in the Unnamed Tavern with Arlo, having just gotten back from your job, bruised, tired, maybe a little frustrated. And Arlo, I assume, do all of you just tell Arlo everything that happened? Or is there anything you're keeping from Arlo?
Would we tell Arlo about the mirror?
That was what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
do
that's-
we feel like telling him about the Illuvian? I don't know if it's necessarily pertinent.
I'm on the side of no.
Same.
Okay. So just
And
generally...
we did all. Not only did we break the thing, we all took. So we have.
You all took
4
a piece
pieces
of
of it.
the Illuvian. Yeah.
I would love it if we were the only people that knew about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you're keeping that. So as far as Arlo knows, you don't know what exactly Teresa was up to in the...
We just had a bit of ogre. We had to take her down.
Yeah. Are you telling Arlo about Carter and Eckert and all of that?
Do we even need to mention that we physically walked into the Fade at all? I'm pretty sure that's only ever happened one other time, and it didn't go well for the world.
I feel like Garas would have not mentioned at all about Eckhart and would have let Carter talk about it, unless like that was something that Garas would have let Carter bring up.
I don't think Carter's going to be much involved in that conversation. He's just going to sip on his hot toddy and kind of observe Derp, what's his name? Sorry. Arlo.
Arlo.
Yeah.
Arlo.
Just kind of observe Arlo's emotional state.
Okay. So I mean, we can kind of summarize it as you tell Arlo that you got there, did some investigating, found out that the head and that the Grand Enchanter was up to some shit. She started shit. You finished the shit in the tower. I mean, we can keep it kind of. You're keeping like a distance between you and what you tell Arlo. Gotcha.
But we can definitely tell him like we literally got our asses saved by the Divine herself and that sort of thing. That seems
that's all
political
public
and
knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that half the city's gonna know about that by the time the day's over. So maybe not about your involvement specifically, but that the Divine was there and that there was something going on at the tower. Okay, so you finish the conversation. Arlo has finished his drink, listening, and lets out a low whistle and says, Well, that was a lot more exciting than I anticipated it was going to be. I had honestly thought when I heard the news that something was going on at the White Spy that you had fucked up and I was going to have to flee very quickly under the shadow of your interrogation by the Templars. But you've been pardoned, I guess, so no harm, no foul. Other than the many dead people, but that's not really your doing at the tower. That was probably going to happen anyway. Anyway, best not to think about it. Good jobs all around. So next part of the plan then, I suppose.
Yes. Get your fake pieces made. We have all the requirements now.
Sure, yeah. So you'll commission the forgery from a fellow you can trust.
I can trust him in completing the job and being, very inconspicuous about it and secretive.
Right. So have the forgery made, and well, I suppose our next order of business then will be the party, the gala. So that's going to be taking place in about 2.5 weeks from today. So I will make the arrangements for the infiltration to get you in. So the party will actually that we're attending will not be in Val Royeaux. It will be in Halam Sharal at the Winter Palace. So we will be traveling there. We'll probably leave in about a fortnight, and I'll make travel arrangements. Obviously, you'll be escorting me as part of my entourage. I'll be performing at the event, and you'll have plenty of leave to get up to whatever you need to there to secure your prize, and we will leave together. We'll come up with more details as we go, but you will need to prepare yourselves for some subterfuge of a more social nature.
Have you been to the Winter Palace?
I have, yes. It's been a few seasons at this point, but I am familiar with it.
Do you know, at least basically, the layout, where things would be located, where we would need to go?
The public areas, at least. There's a lot of private quarters and off-limits areas that I did not have access to, but I can generally describe the wings, some of the more public locations, and give you a general sense of direction to where you might need to go once you're there.
This is a question for the DM. Can Garas make I guess would it be like history or something, recalling any knowledge they know about the Winter Palace?
Sure, you definitely can. You probably have. Do you have a history?
I
focus?
don't have a history focus, but I was just wondering if I knew any hint of anything, considering things.
Yeah, I mean, you probably would. You can roll, and we'll see how that is. But I'll give a little bit of information because I think you and Venehn would probably know a little bit just on your own.
That is an 11.
11. Okay, not great. You don't know a lot of details about it, but I think this is pretty public knowledge. Again, something that as elves, Venehn and Garas would both know. Halam Sharal was once an elven capital that was during the Exalted March essentially claimed by Orlais. And the Winter Palace is essentially built upon the ruins of the ancient elven structures that were there. As such, they're actually the majority of denizens of Halam Sharal are elven. Humans are in the minority there, but the humans live in their own kind of royal quarter, given that the main draw of Halam Sharal and is the Winter Palace. It is the like summer home of the imperial nobility. So, or the winter home, not the summer home.
I know that the Orlesian University mainly just has stuff about, like running a castle and shit. But would they have like basic historical books too? Like, is this
Yeah.
something
I
that
mean, they'd have some
Yas
stuff.
could do?
too.
Like
Yeah,
a,
you could
a research
probably.
dump on.
Sure, you could do some research there if there was anything, if you wanted to see if there were any old schematics of the place or something. Like it depends on what you're looking for. But if there's
That might be a scene for Yaz in a bit.
Okay.
Doing a big research dump for this.
Yeah,
prep
I mean
work.
that's completely within reason. I think some of that knowledge would be public, so you might be able to get that from the library. Arlo says, but you'll need a couple of things. Just a fair warning. You'll need appropriate attire for an event such as this. And if you're looking to bring in any sort of tools, be it weapons or otherwise, you'll want something discreet. Or flashy enough to look showy.
Oh, I think I got that covered.
Right.
That is a thought on the forgery itself. It is rather large.
I can take the responsibility of smuggling that in on my own. I'm sure I can secret it away amongst my instruments, and I can take point with that. No pun intended. And you'll have access to it once it gets inside, so no need to worry too greatly about that. As far as covers for you, again, generally as you're sort of part of my entourage, I tend to travel places with the group, as it would be. I get a bit bored at some of these events, so I like familiar faces. So being friends or colleagues in some sense would make sense, but if you want, you'll need some sort of cover identities as well, and that is for you to decide. I will need to approve them ahead of time to make sure that there's no red flags there and that we can get proper paperwork for you. As far as continuing obligations as your employer, though, I will of course cover the expenses for all of this, and pulls out from under the table a small box and sets it on the table, and gives you enough silver to cover your expenses. It's 300 silver pieces for all of you to get equipped, as well as kind of paying you for your
picks
ongoing
up
services.
the large case and just secretes it away immediately before anyone else may touch it.
Garas is already reaching for it. Oh, that meat that hurt. I wasn't go. I was wanting to look at it. That's all I wanted to do.
That should be sufficient for whatever it is you need. Obviously, if there's more, that if that's not going to cover it, just keep details of your expenses, and I will supplement whatever else you might need.
Well, okay. Well, I think I may have my outfit covered for myself, but I definitely will take part in some splurging spending to preparing for this.
All right. Well, anything you don't spend is part of your payment for services rendered, so if you're more than welcome to spend this money on whatever you want. But if you spend it on other whores and liquor and whatever else it might have you, I will not be providing any additional payments for your clothing or
We
other
call them
equipment you
sex
might need.
workers.
Yeah, we like to give them respectable titles in this building.
All right. For sex workers.
Thank you.
Anyway, any other concerns?
Has Arlo's emotional state been different than what he's physically expressing at any point during our conversation?
That's a good question. Make a, I guess it'd be perception insight, some sort of.
I'm not super great at that, but I do still have that spirit thing. And I figure, especially if I'm not like talking in the conversation, I
Oh,
could
you
just
want to
keep
do just
using it
like
on him.
what is your like? Okay, you want to just use it like what is your what is his emotional state right now?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I was imagining I was doing that throughout the conversation.
So here's what I will give you. I will give you the one word. I feel like if we get to the point where I am giving you like you're doing it like continuously to see how it fluctuates, at that point we're just making an insight check, and we'll just do that. But I will give you the one word for the scene that you're picking up from him. Otherwise, the ability gets a bit broken if it's just like continuously using it. I feel like that goes outside of the intent of it.
Sounds
So as far as the one emotion that you're pulling with your spiritual vibe check, as Molly said in the chat, it's a good description for this emotion. I would say God, I'm trying to think of a good word to describe this, so I'm not giving you like a whole sentence. I would say optimistic. I think is the best way that I can describe with a single word.
Cool.
If you want to roll insight.
I'm not real great at that, but yeah.
Okay. Because I believe that's one of the... Is that under perception? Let me check before I have you roll perception, but...
Okie dokie.
Perception, empathy. That's what it is. Discerning the feelings and emotions of others.
That is perception. Okay. 11.
11. Yeah, I mean, that's about what you get. Cautiously optimistic. Nothing that is directly counterintuitive to the way he's presenting himself.
Cool.
Anything else from anyone during the scene? Okay. Well, that's it then. You are paid. Arlo and Wolf head on their way to other business, and you are all left to rest, recover, and connoiter. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. I've got some scenes here that we'll go ahead and move into, and there's a length of time that we're going to be covering here, and some of these are going to be happening soon. I'd like to do these sort of chronologically because that'll work best. So within that, like, first week, second week, the couple of the scenes, I know that Garas wanted to go meet with go find Lucia, correct? I'm going to put that in the second week category because there's some stuff that's going to go on in between. And I can't think if there's any others that would need to be in the second week.
Maybe mine. I would like to give Venehn a little bit of space to kind of recover emotionally.
Okay, so let's do these scenes. I've got the two scenes that we'll do first then, because I also am trying to not do these back to back with people. So let's do Venehn. You wanted to, and this makes sense that you do this probably soonest. You wanted to go report in to your patron. So what do you think?
I was gonna say, for context for everybody else, Venehn disappears for like 3 days.
Okay.
I feel like this is a normal thing. Like, I feel like Garas is definitely like used to just Venehn disappearing for days. So
This seems typical.
yeah, very like, hey, let the cat out, and they'll come back eventually.
For the narrative's sake, for the audience sake, what does Venehn do for those few days?
Coping.
Okay. So
I mean, does whatever he does normally when he's confronted with something he doesn't want to deal with, throws himself into stuff he shouldn't be doing.
So sex workers and drinking and bar fights and that sort of stuff.
No bar fights. I don't
Okay.
think he gets in fights. But maybe sees if there's anybody that his boss needs murdered.
So no fighting.
Could
One
just,
way fighting.
Could just take care of real quick.
Hey, if you're gonna fight, get paid to fight.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
fair.
mean? Like,
Sort of like
Plus, I'm the one who does all
you
the
know,
fighting and getting beaten up. Anyway.
just a cool just a little assassination as a reboot.
Yeah.
Just a little reset, a little vacation.
just a little stab.
Yeah, I mean, sure. There's probably a good shanking that needs to be done somewhere in the city, and you are tasked with that. I think you go to speak with Lady Richelieu or pretty early on, the next day, just to find something to do.
Yeah.
She's not available, and so Amara kind of you give it here's a job, go do this, come back in a couple days. We'll have something for you then. You get that, you go, you successfully complete your job. I'm not going to play all that out. You do a stabbing.
I think Amara is also probably used to this. Venehn shows up clearly distressed and is like, "Do you have anybody I can murder?"
Yeah, and there's a short list of targets that Lady Richelieu has, people that have miffed her in the last couple of weeks. So, you go murder her hairstylist that got her the color wrong, something like that. You come back a few days later, and you head inside the estate. I think last time we were here, the estate was being renovated or something.
That sounds right.
And so there's the estate's been fixed up. It's nice, present big marble kind of. I think we described it as sort of Greco-Roman, kind of very spacious, lots of columns, some sort of interior pool, very very kind of open space, open concept. And you find at her position coming to sort of intercept you as you are coming inside. You've been escorted in. Is Amara wearing her captain's armor, guard captain's armor, and she comes to sort of intercept and walk you back to where Lady Richelieu is, and she says, "So, did you get it out of your system?
What do you mean?
Whatever you were working off with that last job."
I don't know what you're talking about.
And that has nothing to do with the commotion over at the White Spire a few days ago?
I was afraid we were going to have to talk about that.
It's all over the city now.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
fine. The Divine likes me, apparently, so...
Apparently. Or at least you were at the right place, right time, and she was in a good mood.
I'll take that.
So what happened, exactly?
Do you actually want to know?
I'm fairly curious.
The, what's her face? Head mage. She, defected, I guess.
And you were there to... what?
Save the
See,
day.
Save the day?
Keep a bunch of innocent mages from being murdered.
Right. So the job's coming along well, then?
I'd say so.
Right. Well, I'm very happy to hear that for many reasons.
The least of which being, I'm sure you're very pleased I'm still alive and in your hair.
Well, your being alive and continuing this line of employment seems like it's going to work out very well in my favor very soon.
When are you going to admit you're in love with me?
Once you get over that ego of yours.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there isn't.
You wound me.
She leads you around the corner to a sitting area where there is a fountain and a small table with a couple of chaise lounges, and lying on one of those with a book open and reading quietly is Lady Richelieu, and she looks up as Amar stands in the doorway with you to her side. She says, closes the book. Says, come in, Amara. Thank you. You may go back and return to your duties. I will call you after Venn and I are done discussing. And Amara gives a nod and says, my lady. And she...
See you later.
Amara smiles and she says, I'm sure you will. And she leaves, and Amara seems in pretty good spirit. She's normally pretty thorny to your barbs and your
Prickly.
comments. She seems unusually high-spirited today.
Damn, maybe she got laid.
Lady Richelieu...
Venehn thinks to himself.
Lady Richelieu kind of sits up a bit and motions for you to sit on the lounge across from her. She says, Venehn, how are you, darling?
Oh, you know. Good.
Good. You've recovered all right from your recent excitement.
Oh, just, a few scrapes and burns, nothing I can't handle.
From what I hear from my sources within the White Spire, there was some sort of demonic incursion.
Something like that. The Grand Enchanter, well, she's not from around here.
Yes, Venatori, it seems.
Seems that way.
Interesting. Well, I'm
I
glad to
did
hear
not see that one coming.
I'm glad to hear that my sources are still worth what I pay them for. So, where's my blade?
In the works as we speak. We have the materials we needed. They're being made now.
Right.
The fakes.
And if I'm to understand, the plan is still to create these forgeries, steal the genuine article, and then replace them?
That's the idea.
I'm curious, when is your plan to enact this scheme?
Oh, we were given the fortnight a few days ago, so 10 days? 9?
Around that time, the Imperial retinue will be on its way to the Winter Palace, if I'm in the know.
To the day.
And that is where you tend to make the switch.
Seems fitting. I'm going to take something or screw somebody over. Might as well be on my homeland.
Oh, right. Elam Shara. Suppose. Might make an easier escape. Is your intention to make the switch and then leave them guessing whenever they discover that the blades have been forged.
That's the idea. As little attention in the moment as possible until I am far and away from the Winter Palace.
She smiles and sits back a bit and says, "Excellent. I have an amendment to make to our agreement.
Okay.
I need you to ensure that that a piece of information is conveniently left at the scene. So
With
that
the
evidence
forgeries?
points one direction, yes.
Okay. Can I ask what it is?
Of course. You'll have to devise the means of carrying this out, after all. I want you to ensure that one of the blades that you steal belongs to Adenin Remy. Lord Adenin Remy, as it would be.
Not a big
And
fan of his.
I've never met him. But he is the youngest member of the Royal Guard and proves to me to be the easiest target for what I have in store. You see, there are rumors that have been circulating that House Remy leveraged their influence to get Denon on the into the Empress's arm. I want to support these rumors by laying a framework of information, which you would do when you are conducting this theft, that suggests that Adenin was leveraging his new position for favors for his family. And that Adenin was in the process of, or has already, stolen and sold these blades to benefit his family's fortune.
I have a couple of ideas. Good. Bills of sale are easy to forge. It's a good starting place. Any buyers in particular you'd like to frame as well?
As long as they stay away from House Richelieu and our associations.
I'll just pick someone I don't like.
Good. And Venehn, it is very important that you do not associate yourself or implicate yourself in this effort at all, or else I will have to disown any knowledge of your actions.
Of course.
Good.
Infinitely doable.
That's what I want to hear.
I know.
Well, if all of this works out correctly, then Richelieu will supplant I've made the arrangements that we should supplant House Remy with our own influence, and Amara will take Adenin's position.
That's why she's all smiles this morning. A looming promotion.
She was very keen on the prospect, and I am very keen on having her within close proximity of the Empress.
She's a good choice.
I believe so. Loyal.
To a fault.
Well. At least to a way that benefits me.
Good for her. I'll bring champagne when we're done. Well, she'll be the one with the big guard captain role. Maybe she can bring the champagne.
We will celebrate quietly, of course.
Of course.
All right.
May I ask you something?
You may ask.
What do you know about the divine?
Divine Hortensia. Well, other than that she's young and woefully inexperienced, I would say not very much. Which is frustrating, of course, in our position. She was elevated from relative obscurity. Why? Do you know something?
I think so. She is young, she is inexperienced, and most importantly, I think she is terrified to do her job.
Well, I could hardly blame her in the position that she finds herself. It's not one that I would want to be in.
I just wonder if... I know she has her chantry sisters, but if perhaps out of her congregation she could benefit from a mentor figure.
And, what did you have in mind?
Nothing in particular, I just, thought it might be of interest to a pious woman such as yourself.
Well, I'll consider it. Perhaps there's a way we can leverage my inexperience to our own benefit. I am lacking influence within the chantry. It's one area in which we are still expanding.
She's very kind. She has a good heart. And I think no idea what she's doing. And that scares her.
Right. I will, I'll consider it. I also just realized I've been using the name of the wrong divine in this conversation, or in this part. It's Divine Rosamond, not Divine Hortensia.
Oh.
That was my fault. Divine Hortensia II was the one prior to her who died.
Anyway, just a thought.
I will consider and see what my efforts can turn up.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. You may go.
Thank you, my lady. I will bring news when there's news to bring.
She gives a quiet nod and allows you to leave.
Oh, and it's a good book. The third one's particularly saucy even for me.
She smiles politely as you leave and picks up her book and begins to read. So I will, because I got the name wrong, I had the information wrong. So let me clarify something. Divine Rosamond, elected at age 19. This is what she would have told you.
Is the new
that she
baby
knows.
divine.
She's the baby divine, yes. She was born Lilette Montbelliard, a granddaughter of Queen Asha Campana, who was pulling up her information too. She was one of the queens of Thetis, often referred to as the Queen Mother of Thetis. There's a whole history of her. So she was one of the queens of Antiva.
The grandmother was.
Yes. Yeah, basically her bloodline said to flow through the families of Orlais, Navarra, Starkhaven, and the Anderfells, as well as some within some magisters of the Deventer Imperium. So like she was queen and her children basically like became important figures all
Everywhere.
over the place. But that is the Divine's grandmother. And then she was groomed from birth to be the successor of Divine Hortensia. So essentially hasn't done anything else except for being prepared to be divine.
Ooh, sheltered.
Yeah.
AKA easy to manipulate.
Considering in the description, because it's public knowledge, I won't keep it secret and stuff, Rosamond reigned for 55 years and was known for the large quantities of erotic art and literature which she was featured in. So.
Good for her.
Good for her. I'm gonna add that and we'll work that into the campaign.
Cool.
Obviously at 19, I don't think she's gotten there yet.
No. That's a long time coming.
Yeah.
When she's willing and able to consent to horny paintings.
Yeah. Okay.
Good for her.
Why is that still...
After that conversation, probably like later that day or the next day, Venehn is gonna try to hunt down Amara.
Okay. We can go ahead. Is there something, like, do you want to have a scene with her real quick?
Yeah, I think he just wants to talk to her. We can do somebody else if you want to come back to that.
Yeah, let's come back to that because I've got another scene to do here before break. That we'll do with Yasmera, actually. Yas, what are you up to?
Yas has very regimented days. Yas wakes up early, does her calisthenics, if you will, trains, goes in, takes her classes, kind of on autopilot at this point, but gotta show your face. And then I guess will avail herself of the library, since that's where we're at right now. Maybe do some research on, under the guise of doing research for any schoolwork. We'll do some research on the Winter Palace.
Okay.
So I do have a focus in research. I don't know. You tell me, would this be research, cultural lore, or military lore? I've got all of them.
Cultural lore, you said, right? Is none of them?
Yep.
I think that works.
Okay. That is pretty good. That is 5, 4 plus 3. 5, 4, and 3 is 12, plus 5 is a 17.
17. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you find... I'd say you find, like, old documents that go over the Exalted March against the Dales, and the conquest of Hilam Sharal. I mean, like I alluded to before, the Halabshral was the capital of the Elven sort of empire at that point. Um, it was let's see, basically built like before recorded history. Its name means the end of the journey in the Elven language. Essentially, it was like the last city that they built. There is a tradition amongst the like the Dalish clans and the elves that essentially it's where they gather once every once every millennia or something to sort of convene once every few hundred years. I think is probably more accurate. The city was under Elven control for about 300 years before it was conquered in 220 glory during the Exalted March of the Dales, and it was on the ruins of Chateau Leon, this in Halabshral, where the Winter Palace was built. And like I said before, it's basically all it is majority elves that live there. They are the most populous, or mostly populated by them. So there's no alienage in Halabshral. It's since it's mostly commerce and everything is strictly elven. But the humans that live there are like sort of a privileged minority that live in the high quarter of the city near the Winter Palace. Yeah, I mean that's the big part you get. Otherwise, I think maybe you get like a map of the city, like post conquest of it. Kind of has the a description of the or a basic outline of the layout of the city.
Any good stuff about the Winter Palace?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there would be
even descriptions or...
Yeah, I mean, I think there would probably be some descriptions of like later or more like recently. There's some artist renderings of the Winter Palace. It's probably someplace that students will draw. It's a beautiful, Orlesian castle, essentially. That is the retreat, the seasonal retreat for the Imperial Court. So it's their holiday home. So it's fancy, and they hold their gatherings there. I'm trying to think. It's largely decorated in gold and white marble. Think about anything else specifically that you would get from there. Any other big? I mean, I don't think they'd be like there would be anything about like in the secret entrance for the but yeah, there wouldn't be anything like that. But yeah, I mean, it was designed for like a retreat for the nobility, for the imperial family. So it was it has a lot that is probably off limits to most of the guests of the family of the emperor or empress.
Cool. We already got a download of the empress's the six and all that, so
Dead.
So I think we're good there.
Okay.
And then I think goes back to her rooms, writes out a short letter, puts together some notes that she took, hanging out in the offices of the tower, and where were we at? Up in the night vigilance office. Got some notes on that. Puts a couple of those in there, seals it up, and then goes to a very particular bar in a not wonderful but not terrible part of town.
Okay. Yeah, it'd probably be over in the by the night gate. We've set that up as that's kind of the more unscrupulous area of the city. You kind of head into this seedy bar, obviously a little bigger and then more utilized than the unnamed bar that you're at, which you're pretty sure that the four of you are the only patrons of at this point. And but it's relatively family. I think there's a couple of cowled people like huddled at a table in the corner, like a large individual that is kind of shrouded in darkness, sipping a drink in a booth on the far side of the restaurant. And you head up to the bar, like the barkeeper, who looks up at you. I mean, are you dressed any differently coming and doing this?
I figure she threw on a cloak, trying to look. I mean, again, 6'8" is not exactly nondescript, but trying to look as nondescript as possible.
Yeah, she the barkeeper looks up and says, "What can I get for you, miss?"
Of an ale, and I have heard that the winds are blowing south.
The barkeep has turned. As soon as you say you want an ale, they start to pour, and they sort of pause slightly as you say that last bit, and turn to face you and say, "Should be a warm summer then."
Indeed. She'll take the letter, pay for her drink, and then add some extra silver on there and just slide it across the bar.
You begin to slide across the bar, and he stops you for a second and like taps on the letter twice and says, "Why don't you sit and enjoy your drink for now?" And gestures like with their fingers as he taps the bar to the side, over towards the table where the large figure is sitting at in shadow, and sort of pushes the letter back to you.
Nods, leaves the silver, takes the letter, takes her drink, walks over to the table.
You go and you sit down in this cover of darkness over here as your eyes sort of adjust to the dim light away from the lanterns illuminating the bar. You sit at the table, and a figure sort of creaks forward, and you see sitting there a large Kunari gentleman. He has horns that are shaved down. He has a sort of a dark like ashy gray vitar smeared across his forehead, and is clearly wearing some like kind of heavier leathers. And you recognize this gentleman immediately. This is Null, who is works with your mother. And he says, "Hello, yes."
No.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to show your face.
Been busy. Good schoolgirl and all that.
Very busy, it seems.
Well, gotta make a living somehow.
We understand your need to make a living, but there's a difference between making a living and throwing your face around town, getting involved in some of the biggest scandals. Your mother
Well,
is
then-
concerned about your judgment.
My mother's been concerned about my judgment since I was 16.
And what do you say to defend yourself against these allegations?
Slides the letter across to him.
Taps on the leather and kind of slides it towards him and says, I want to hear you say it before I deliver this to her.
If you want what is required, then you need to be in the thick of things, don't you? Now, next time I hear that the Divine herself will be there, I will try to stay in the shadows, but obviously that was not intended.
Leans in and in a much quieter tone says, you need to be careful. There is a fine line between integrating and familiarizing yourself with the locals and becoming one of them. Watch, observe, absorb. Use the people that are offered to you, but do not mistake them for your friends or your family.
Downs her drink, stands up.
Yeah, I didn't say you could leave yet. I have a mission for you.
I don't work for you. And if you don't mind, you can remind my mother that I don't work for her either. I know who my family is. That's why I'm even bothering to do this. I'd appreciate if you would remind her of that fact.
If you deny this mission, I will report it back to her, and next time I will not come here alone, and we will take you back for re-education.
I need to do a good boy roll. Goes back up to the bar, orders another ale, sits at the adjoining table with her back to him, and waits.
Null sort of grunts, leans back, and says, I will keep this short since you seem to have low patience today. We know that you are working for a bard named Arlo.
Sips her drink.
And that they have secured a inn for you at an event at the Winter Palace in a week and a half. You can do whatever it is that you're currently doing there, but there is a meeting that is to occur between the new Grey Warden leadership and the Orlesian commanders and the Empress during this ball. You're to spy on this meeting and report back to us what is discussed.
And the payment? Since apparently you believe that I do work for you, I don't work for the glory of the Qun, I work for coin.
Make a communication roll. Do you have any communication focuses?
Nope.
Okay.
But I did roll 2 6s and a 5.
Damn.
So that's 17 plus. So that's 19.
Okay. He, like, you can feel him tense up in his chair.
She
And-
actually relaxes at that and drinks her ale.
And he actually stands, moves over to your table and sort of like leans down, bracing his arms on it, and he says, "Your payment for this is me not telling your mother of your insubordination. You might say that you don't work for us, but you do until we say you don't." He reaches in to behind him and grabs like you hear the jingling like a coin pouch, which he tosses down on the table in front of you and says, "This should cover your expenses. I'll be speaking with you in 2 weeks." And he turns and leaves.
Finishes her ale. Checks the coin purse.
That's 50 silver.
Gives another 5 to the barkeep.
And you
Walks
leave.
out. Goes out to an alley. And punches a wall.
I imagine there's a crack and your maybe knuckles a bit bloody as you leave a nice little break in the brick there, and
There's a servant inside shitting their pants.
and you head back to your dorm.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and take our break here, and we'll come back and do some scenes with Carter and Garas, and anything else that we might have time for. So, thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. We are gonna go do our break stuff, drink some water, stretch, take our meds, whatever we need to do, and we recommend you do the same to help. Stretch, do a posture check at least, unclench your jaw, whatever you need to do. And we'll be back in a few minutes to continue our session. So stay tuned. And welcome back, Internet. Thanks for hanging out with us while we took our break. We're going to jump right back into things. So a couple of dramatic conversations with some extra jobs to do. One of them a little more friendly than the other. Yaz is a bit cranky right now. And we're gonna power through with. I think I'd like to do Carter. You had a scene you wanted to do with Venn, right?
Yes.
Let's go and do that.
Okay. Have we been like meeting back up at the bar? Is everybody still
sure.
like hanging out at the bar from time to time?
Yeah, I will say after those initial like 3 or 4 days, Venehn did come back, didn't acknowledge that he'd been gone at all, and is now acting completely normal. In the way that only Venehn does. So it's not normal, but for him it's normal.
We're used to it.
Yaz did the same thing. She's just been silent for the past few days.
Yes, but now he's back and just trying to let Carter mix him different drinks. That allegedly are from the Dalish homeland. It's mostly, some of it's from his grandma, and then a bunch of it's just bullshit he's made up. That he thinks tastes good.
So I'm imagining on one of those days, when it's a point in a day when it's just Carter and Venehn, he's going to ask you, Venehn, have you ever been to the Plaza de Ros?
Define been to.
Physically inhabiting the space?
Technically, yes.
Hmm.
Not in the way most people probably consume it, though.
Would you care to meet me there this evening? There are some things I would like to discuss with you, if you are amenable.
Sure. Did you just tell me we need to talk, and then tell me we have to do it later?
There is no requirement of this. I simply wish to share some things with you.
You know what, Carter? I would love for you to share some things with me.
Excellent. Shall we say sundown?
Sure. Should I dress up? Is this what...
Dress as you wish.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Carter is also, now that we're back out of the tower, back in his normal fancy minor noble garb.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess like fast forward to the evening.
Yeah, I mean,
All right,
imagine-
I'm gonna slap my description down.
do it.
So the Plaza de Ros is a small plaza on a little bit of a hill, so it has a little bit of a view of the city. You can see off to the side and hear the colorful, crowded nature of the elven alienage, and off in the distance you can see the palace. It's bordered by a bistro, a coffee shop, and something else. And a tavern, of course. And in the center of the plaza is a mosaic of a rose. Hanging over the edge of the terraced wall are more roses dangling down the side, and then there's wooden terracing over the top with roses and paper lanterns hanging. There are small tables all around the perimeter of the plaza, and there's a beautiful mixture of smells: the roses, the coffee, the food from the tavern. There's a lot of couples having romantic encounters, as there often are. And when you enter the plaza, you see Carter sitting by himself at one of the tables underneath a small tree, a paper lantern hanging from one of the branches over the center of the table. There are 2 plates by him, steaming, and a couple of glasses. He's sipping from one as he seems to be sketching something in a journal. On the plates are seared duck, sliced and put on a bed of mushrooms and mixed greens with strawberry compote, and some roast potatoes with rosemary and thyme. And he looks up as you approach, and he closes the journal and tucks it away in a pocket.
Oh my God, Sita, we get it. You cook.
We know we're in for a treat when Sita starts describing food. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Y'all ate dinner tonight, right? Everybody ate dinner? Get
Nope,
some food.
not yet.
Not yet.
Waiting on pizza bites.
Pizza bites, seared duck. Same thing.
Pizza
Same.
bites with a
Both get me hungry.
raspberry compote and duck sauce.
Dog pocket.
Duck pocket is terrible. That was a
that doesn't sound
haunted. That was a cursed thing you just said. Wally.
You know what? I'd try it.
I mean, I'd
You know,
try
the
it.
fact-
Yeah.
Duck and
The
roast
fact that he
potato and a
just
hot
said it out
pocket.
loud
I'd eat
made
it.
it real,
I'd eat it.
too.
I'd
Give me
eat
a
it.
good
Start
crust.
having it.
I'd eat the shit out of that.
I'd eat it.
I'm just thinking back to the time we went to that awesome restaurant in Chicago that had the fucking ducks like hanging in the window. Alex took us when we were there. Anyway, Venehn is dressed in black, as he is wont to do when it's nighttime. And just sort of like casually makes his way up. We'll sit down. This is nice. I've never seen it from this angle, you know. I've only ever seen it from... So he looks around, clocks like a taller building in the distance. That roof.
Perhaps this perspective will be more pleasant for you. I hope.
It'll be more pleasant for the people dining on this patio, I can tell you that.
Please join me. I hope you do not mind that I ordered.
No.
And he'll turn and take another sip from his wine and just kind of be silent for the first part as we kind of eat for a minute. And then he'll say, this is where Eckhart took me one evening. Almost 3 years ago to the day, in fact. We snuck out of the tower. Disguises are easier in this town of masks. He brought me here. We ate this meal and drank this wine. Although on that night, we drank much more. I remember on that day feeling something I had never felt. After we ate, he took my hand, and it was the first time since I had been a child that my hand had been held by another. And we danced there to music not so dissimilar from this. It was the first and last time I had truly felt loved. Even in my current state, it is a memory that I cherish deeply.
So was that before?
Yes. I believe it was, in fact, because of that we were found out.
I'm sorry.
He pulls the journal back out of his pocket and opens it up. And he had been sketching the view, the city line from the perspective of his chair. It's not very good. The perspectives and angles are a bit long. He says, I have begun drawing. Would like to pursue new hobbies. Do you know why? Would you like to know why?
I would love to know why.
When I escaped the tower, I was empty. And for 3 years, I lived, no, I slept and ate and shit, but I was not alive. And then you and the others came into my life, and you have unlocked something in me, begun to, perhaps. I do not know if I will ever be the same as I was. I don't think I could be. But because of our friendship, I may heal. He brushes a small branch, a little bit of leaves away from the side of the tree. You see the heart carved into the side of the tree, a C, an E in it. And he says, "This tree will never be the same after we put our blade to it. But it will grow, and it will thrive despite it." He puts his hand out towards yours, as if to put his hand on it lightly. I would never pry into your past, but I hope that my friendship may help you heal as well. You do not need to be defined by your past sufferings.
I like squeeze Carter's hand a little bit. Unfortunately for me, Carter, my past sufferance still very much defines my present life.
I do not believe healing happens all at once. If it were, I would not continue to I know that Eckhart has died. And I know that the spirit I talk to is not him. I still rely on my past. But perhaps one day I will not need to. Do not be concerned if you are whole today, but please entertain the idea that another day, a different day, may come.
Tell that to my boss.
I will, if you would introduce me.
No,
Although
I don't think that's a good idea, actually.
uh,
Just more of a general statement of frustration.
have you ever danced?
Sure. Plenty.
Would you care to?
Yeah, I think I would.
Carter stands up and offers a hand.
For what it's worth, Carter. I know they're not here, but I'll speak for them anyway. The last time you felt loved by Eckert was not the last time you were loved.
I believe that is a beautiful sentiment. I hope that I remember it as I dream tonight.
What can I say? I'm a beautiful man.
I don't think Carter says anything to that, but it's a good thing he's wearing a mask.
Let's dance.
Who leads? I don't know. I don't think Carter leads.
Yeah, I think Venehn will.
Especially because Carter's probably also not good at dancing. I mean,
Hey, that's okay.
probably wouldn't have been before they took out all his mojo, you know?
Carter does the white man two-step.
Venehn, like me, believes that everybody can be good at dancing, and it's just about feeling it and not about what it looks like.
That's really all about I had.
Okay. That's beautiful.
What can I say? I'm a beautiful man.
Yeah, you two
Now
have
you gotta get it in there one more time.
you two have
One more time.
a lovely evening. I want to jump over to Garas. You had something in mind you wanted to get up to.
Who?
Here's a question I pose for you, DM.
Uh-huh.
Where is Lucia right now?
It's a good question. Do you have like a carousing ability or like a focus in? I think it'd be a communication focus for like finding people.
Do not have a focus in carousing or finding people. Though that is something I probably should.
Yeah, I was looking to see. Well, there's not really a focus listed for something like that. Here's what I'll give you. I don't really want to do this roll because you're gonna find her either way. I imagine it maybe in the next couple days, like you, or like during this first week, you head, maybe go back to the guard post outside of like the Templar hold and maybe ask for her.
So what happens is at that one of the guard posts, one of the guards sees a really old, hunched over man walking up to the guard post leaning on a stick, because that is Garas in disguise.
The guard, stops you and says, old timer, you can't come beyond here if you don't have, do you have business?
What's that? You gotta speak up.
I think you might be lost. You can't come beyond here without permission.
I gotta find the boss? Yeah, no, I gotta find the boss is what you're saying? It doesn't matter. I'm looking for one of the Templars here. Their name is Lucia. She promised she was gonna take me for a bit of a walk around the area, because these old bones need a little bit of exercise around here.
You said Lucia?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, it is. These old bones, they need a little bit of exercise walking around the area, and, well, she said she'd help me out.
Do you want to roll for
I will.
disguise?
It's disguise.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, I rolled 2 6s and a 3, so that's right there is a 15. Wait, no, that's not. Yeah, 15 plus my 7 in disguise focus. That's a 19.
Damn. Okay. The guard says, here. Okay, Lucia, that's the name you said?
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay, all right, please stop yelling.
You gotta speak up. You know these old
Okay,
ladies.
I will. You don't need to yell. I can hear you.
Oh, you can? Thank you.
The Lucia de Lunar is who you're looking for.
Yeah, Lucia de Lunar.
She's not here right now.
Oh, where is she?
I believe she's at the church.
Oh, okay. Well, I better hobble on over there. You take good care of yourself, young man. You're doing a pleasure to the city.
Okay.
You're doing the work of the city. You're doing so great. I am so glad we have powerful people like you looking over us, especially what's been going down lately. I'm scared, and I just feel comfortable seeing people like you around at these guard posts, knowing that I'm being protected.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Do you need someone to walk you?
Oh,
there?
that would be wonderful if you could have someone walk me over. That'd be great.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll get somebody to escort you. 1 second.
Thank you very much.
And get somebody to.
Why is this man so afraid of old people?
He's not afraid. He's worried about this guy.
He had this look of fear.
More like fear that this man's gonna die in front of him. He doesn't know what to do if that happens. I mean, aren't we all scared of old people?
Yeah.
A little bit,
I
scared
am.
of our futures. It
We're
kind
scared
of
of becoming old people.
a reflection of our own mortality. Yeah. Anyway, the
Cool escapism you got there. Be ashamed if something happened to it.
He gets another recruit to escort you over to the chantry. He walks you up to the building, to the front doors.
Hey, you know what, young man? You what are you doing? You're gonna be coming up in the ranks yourself, aren't you? I had a son. He wanted to be a Templar, but he had what is called the boot foot. One foot was larger than the other, and he had a bad limp. So they said that he couldn't be it. And, with all that powerful spirit stuff you do, he couldn't even fix that. He would always come home. He'd be like, "Daddy, I can't be a Templar. Why can't I be a Templar?" And he's just rambling on and on about this as they're walking to the church.
Yeah, I think you arrive at the Grand Cathedral, and
Hold
you
on,
can
I
hear,
want this to play out in real time. I want to see how long Wally can keep this going.
you can
You'd be
hear
surprised.
Longer than you would think.
You can hear the singing coming from inside as the chant is sung in full, continuously from within from the cathedral. The Templar kind of leads you up to the steps, and I think as you're rambling, he's just he's like, I've gotta go back. Enjoy yourself. Thank you, and just
Oh, okay. Thank you
walks off
very
to
much,
try to
young
get
man.
away.
Oh, boy, let me just walk my way
Damn,
up
that guy
these
got one
steps.
of his Templar badges today.
Yeah, he did, for helping an
God.
old man across the street.
Let me hobble up these stairs. He's making a show of it as he slowly walks up the stairs and he walks into the church.
Okay. Yeah, you arrive at the kind of inside. I don't know, has Garas ever been to the Grand Cathedral before?
He's never been inside because he firmly believes he doesn't have the money for religion. But he has walked around. He's been outside a bunch many times.
Yeah, I mean, it is beautiful in here with massive stained glass windows depicting different key movements from the chant, and at the center of this kind of domed cathedral is a large the roof is half stained glass as well, and there's this depiction of Andraste with the light shining down to a circular dais at the center of this massive space, and there are rows of benches scattered around, and inside you can see sisters of the chantry that are praying, kneeling. There's usually always at least a few here continuing to sing the chant of light, and anyone that comes to pray here kind of comes in and like picks up where they're singing. And you would know this. I mean, anyone in the area, they sing the chant of light it's one of the only places that the chant of light is sung in full, which takes 2 weeks to do. And they just kind of pick up and carry on the song with whoever's in there at that time. But there's always somebody in here singing. And you kind of hobble in, continuing to masquerade, and it's very, very kind of somber and quiet. And you can see towards the edge of the room, in one of these back, one of the last rows of benches, kneeling on the stone floor, you see Lucia. And she's wearing sort of simple garb. She's not wearing her armor or anything. She's wearing a simple, linen garb, and praying currently.
Garas will slowly hobble over and sit down in the bench that is nearby her and goes, "Oh boy, yeah, these old bones need a little bit of a rest here. Don't mind me, young lady. I'm just gonna sit here for a bit."
She continues to pray, and again, she's singing softly, continuing with the chant, and she looks over and she sees you and just gives a polite smile and a nod before continuing to sing, not recognizing you.
To kind of he leans into the whole masquerade, and he silently hums along with her as she's doing her prayer. And when it looks like she's about to finish, he speaks up and he says, it's been a while since I've come in here and did a little bit of the prayer work. Don't really have much to pray about these days.
She's finished. You begin to speak as she sort of finishes. She's beginning to stand. She stands up to sit on the bench and dust off her the knees of her gown. And as you say this, she smiles. She says, "Well, I suppose that's fortunate. If you could take that a number of ways. If you don't have much to pray about, then perhaps you've been blessed enough by the Maker to have good fortune. I find most people come here to pray when they've experienced some amount of misfortune."
Oh, that happened to you recently, young lady?
Unfortunately, yes.
I'm sorry to hear that. I've been through quite some dire times myself recently. You're I've seen you around the guard post every now and then, but patrolling and stuff with the other Templars. You're one of them, right?
She sort of pauses before responding, and she says, "I was."
You was? What happened?
It's a long story.
And Garas looks around, and he does the little old man slide over. Well, these old ears are always willing to listen if you ever got a story to tell.
Maybe another time.
Well, maybe, you could lend a story to a friend. And he lifts up, lowers the little tiny spectacles that he has down, and you see, and he has, instead of his eye patch, he has a bandage wrapped around his missing eye, and he lowers the little spectacles down, and he then gives a wink to Lucia, and he says in a hushed tone, "Lucia, it's me, Garas."
She stops for a second. And you see, there's a look of surprise. And she, grits her teeth a little bit, and she just walks out.
Oh boy. Hold on. Oh, wait. Yeah, wait. And he slowly stands up, hobbling after her.
Yeah, I mean, she's just walking full speed ahead of you. You're gonna have to break disguise to keep up with her.
As he leaves the chapel, he like doubles around back, drops the disguise, and kind of like sprint walks after her.
She sees you come. She says, "Garas, this is not the place nor the time."
It's not the place nor the time just to check on you?
Like as you round a corner and like to a quiet area, so she says, "In the Grand Cathedral, lying, deceiving me to tell you what's going on. Did you not think just coming to ask me instead of tricking me? All you've done, the lot of you, blackmailing me and forcing me into all this, and now I'm without a place to go.
And
what makes you think that I want to see you or talk to you right now?"
Okay, fair. We did put you in a very precarious situation, and the outcome of it was obviously, now I can tell, it was not good. And before you say anything, I personally want to apologize.
Well, apology or not, you all got what you wanted, right? So you don't need me anymore.
No, I mean, just because we got what we wanted doesn't mean we don't need you anymore. But I'm not saying we need you in we need you to come help us out. No. It's more of a thing of, well, what I'm saying is that we will need you, as a friend. I'm not looking for looking for you as a thing of, I need to blackmail Templar, or I need you to get me into some stronghold to get a sword or something. No. This is me coming to you as a genuine friend. I honestly worried about you. You put your life on the line for us. You did a huge risk. And I got to admit that I did not expect you to just turn around and to fight all of those Templars for us. And I just want to say, thank you. Because you didn't have to do that at all.
No, I didn't, and I shouldn't. But in the moment, it seemed to be what was right.
Do you want to get a drink? You look like you could eat it.
And you notice something? She is she looks like, as you're kind of talking for a bit and have this moment of like, calm down, and it's like better lit out here. She has pretty bad circles under her eyes. And you notice like her hands are kind of in front of her. It's like clasped together. And at first it like kind of took as like a fidgeting kind of angry posture. And as she's sort of calming down a little bit, you realize that her hands are actually like trembling right now. Like she's holding them to keep them from shaking. She says, "I don't know if that would be such a good idea for me right now. I'm sort of dealing with a few things."
Well, how can I help with that?
Do you understand what it is that I've lost?
I'm guessing, because I'm just going to assume here that you feel like that the one thing that defined you, the one thing that gave you drive and gave you purpose in this world, you no longer have it. And now you're just floundering along in this sea of people, wondering, what am I going to do next? Because an outside force, because of your decisions, because you did what you felt what was right at the moment, you're now facing the consequences for it that isn't ideal. And I understand that in many ways than you realize.
Make a. I'm debating whether this is communication etiquette or communication persuasion.
I have communication. I don't have communication persuasion. I have communication deception.
Okay, so it won't matter either way. It's one of those. So just roll communication then.
18.
Okay. The wall kind of breaks a bit, and she says, "Yes, that is all very accurate, but I was a Templar. That meant something for me and my family. And there was responsibility there to make that work. And I've lost that. And I've lost the ability to provide for my family. And I've lost the ability to provide for myself. I've also lost... I'm having to deal with having lost my friends within the Templars, my access to their resources. And you realize as you're seeing this, like, and she's shaking. I'll give Garas, like, you've probably seen a lot of this too. Like, she's clearly going through withdrawals, from the lyrium loss, and it seems like they have. I mean, the implication being here that she has been cut off from lyrium, and I'll give you this too. She still looks angry, but more than that, like, coming through right now is she seems scared.
That usual, like, jovial, the usual jovial expression, that usual, like, twinkle in his eyes, it fades a bit, and he rests his hand on her shaking hand. Come on, let's get you something to eat. It looks like you have not eaten in a while.
Fine. Let me go get changed.
I'll wait.
And she heads back through the guard post and you see, instead of going to the barracks in the tower, she actually heads off to one of the other barrack stations and comes back a few minutes later dressed in like street clothes. So two of you go someplace to, like, sit down, like a tavern.
Yeah.
Go sit down and get something to eat.
Goes to, like, one of the, like, inconspicuous taverns. And
like, we can transition the scene there. Like, the two of you get some food. We'll continue it, but, like, she has some food in front of her and, like, is, like, picking at it softly. Like, looks like she probably hasn't eaten in a bit, but is really considering whether she can keep the food down.
let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of the Gray Fox?
No, is this an elven thing, or?
Kinda. No, it's not. The name is. But, you see, there was this gentleman. His name was the Gray Fox. He was an elf. And what his duty was, he had a purpose. This city here. His whole job was to, be a sword. When people would have duels, the nobles, and they had no skills themselves to partake in these duels of honor or for land or whatever bullshit these nobles fight for or have these duels for, he would stand in for them. And he was well respected amongst all the nobles. His family got to sit at the noble tables. They got to be involved in all the high parties and everything like that. They were treated with the same respect as every single person that had the money here in this city. And you know what? They were an elf. They were well known. They got a big old fancy manor for it. They had money and everything. And then, one day, because his reputation became so popular, someone decided to cheat during the duel. And what he didn't realize, there was a sniper during one of their duels that shot him in the ankle. And it wasn't nothing like a lethal blow or anything. It was more of a distraction that caught him off guard and caused him to lose the duel. He didn't die or anything, he just lost. But because of that, he lost all that status because of that one mistake. And no longer was he viewed as one of the nobles. He was no longer viewed as someone important. He was just another elf. Another elf to be stomped under by the heel of the rich and powerful in this city. They cut him off from everything. The money, the fame, the prestige, the popularity was stripped away from him. And he, to this day, is sitting alone in that manor, probably at the bottom of some bottle, remembering those days when he was important. And he takes a sip of his own drink.
That was a very depressing story.
Oh, it is an incredibly depressing story.
I don't know if that was meant to make me feel better.
Oh, no, it was not meant to make you feel better. It's supposed to tell you that
Right.
there are other people in this world who go through what you are going through. That feeling of not having a purpose. But I tell you this to say this. You can do one of two things right now. You can take this moment where you're down at the bottom of the barrel, and you can just waste your life away not doing anything and just feeling sad about what was taken from you. Or you can find another purpose, or find some people who can support you and help you find that purpose. Some friends.
Make another communication check.
That's another 19, and I got a 6 on the dragon dice.
Oh,
And
damn.
a 6 also.
Role-playing stunts,
Roleplay stunts.
which I think are still up.
Yep.
Well, you got a lot to spend. What do you want?
Okay. I will.
Do not flirt with her in this moment. She's extremely vulnerable.
I am not gonna flirt with her. I will use stunned silence And and jest to try to add a little bit of add some levity to cheer her up.
Okay. I want to take this as almost like one of those weird moments where like you weren't necessarily trying to like you haven't said anything funny
No, I didn't.
yet. And she
When your
is-
DM dunks on you in a major way.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm saying like
you haven't said
it-
anything funny.
But my meaning here is instead of asking like, oh, what funny thing do you say? I think that actually works better. It's like, you've laid out the situation in front of her and like provided with some other context and everything. And she like sits there for a moment staring at her food and just begins to like, you almost think she's crying for a minute. And then she kind of breaks out and just like, you hear her begin to laugh softly. And that laughter grows a bit like louder, and to the point where like some other people at other tables like look over like what's going on.
I don't think it was that funny.
Until she's like fully out of breath, and she stops after a few moments, like catching her breath, and she says, "Do you know what I was praying for in that church?" You don't. That's
no.
a rhetorical question.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I was looking for an answer for something. For the Maker, for Andraste herself, to give me a sign of what it is I'm supposed to do now that I've lost everything that I thought was my calling. And then you fucking show up. And now I have to decide whether this is a test or if maybe the Maker has put you in my path, your fucking band of miscreants.
We like to call ourselves thieves. Just use the word. It's not a dirty word for
great.
us.
That makes me feel even better. Fine, you band of thieves in front of me. All right. Fine. I've nowhere else to go. I have nothing else to do. And if the lyrium withdrawals don't kill me, then I at least need something to do next. And right now, all that I'm holding on to is this anger, and I don't rightfully know what I'm angry at. So I should at least put that towards something, and you're going to pay me for whatever it is that you're doing next.
Are you? Lucia, are you asking to join our little band?
No,
Oh.
I'm saying I'm going to.
So, for the first time in his entire life, Garas is speechless.
She looks down at the food for a second, like she takes a bite and like forces herself to swallow, then pushes it back. She says, I have to be out of the barracks by the end of the week and have another place to stay. I will be at the tavern with all of my things later today, and you can tell me where it is that I can be staying.
Okay, yes, Sword, yes.
Cool,
Fine,
we
yes.
can do things of lyrium. Cool, we can help her with withdrawals. Cool, we can help wean her off.
And don't worry, we will take care of you and all of that is going on right now. And I mean all of it. We will help you get you back on your feet.
Right. I'll see you tonight.
Wonderful. One more question. It is kind of an odd ask.
All right. As long as the answer can be me punching you in the face.
Oh, it is. It may involve that actually. So you saw what happened in that fight.
Which,
When we were fighting the ogre.
yes.
I don't know how to really ask this, but can you... I know how to use a sword. And I was wondering if you can help me. I need a bit of a refresher course in how to use it. I'm good with a dagger, I'm good with the Morningstar, but ever since I was a child, I was professionally trained in the sword. Specifically, the duelist rapier. And
You're asking if I can train you.
yes, that is what I'm asking. It's more of a kind of just to dust off the old bones and give me a little bit of a refresher course.
$50 silver.
Okay. 50 silver.
Tonight. I'll see you there. Not for the training. To see, I need a few days for that.
Oh, of course, of course.
And she continues to stand and heads kind of slowly out of the bar, trying to hold herself high, but again, clearly seems like she's in a lot of discomfort right now.
He sighs a bit, and as she leaves, once again, that twinkle in his eyes, that jovial twinkle again kind of dilutes again as he goes somber again, thinking about that story he told her.
Excellent.
Garas ain't never gonna have any money.
No.
No.
He spends
that's
it
a
faster than he can make it.
Smash cut to Garas explaining that he now owes Lucia 50 silver, having just picked up some 50 silver that she wants nothing to do with now. Yasmera will take a pouch, hand it to Lucia just straight up, and be like, only if I'm allowed to watch. And
Oh.
please, fight dirty.
Oh, I encourage it.
Best friends. Best girlfriends.
So is there any, so we can kind of, Lucia's obviously joined your party, as I want to give a little bit of context, a little bit of context with like NPC stuff, because we haven't mentioned Ty yet, and what Ty is up to. I think Ty, similar to Venehn, after everything that happened, was like, hey, I need a couple of days. Like, I don't think disappear without saying anything, but just like let probably Carter know that's like, I gotta be on my own for a bit, like, and work through some stuff. And probably was on his own for about a week, disappeared, came back the next week and was like cleaned up, maybe got a bit of a haircut.
He's still got the goatee though, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thank goodness.
Yeah, I think just needed to take some time for himself. But he's doing okay. But I realized I hadn't mentioned him, and he's he's around. But Lucia kind of taking the forefront here. Yes, so she shows up with all of her shit at the bar, which isn't that much, probably like a bag's worth, and her armor and stuff, which she has kind of slumped over her shoulder. She is. You said you were going to use the lyrium to help like wean her off.
We gave her one during the battle. I don't even know if she used it, and then we had 2 left. So
they probably confiscated that from her.
So we'll use the 2. Probably,
Yeah.
I'm sure she would know best. If
Yeah,
she
I
wants
mean,
to portion it out.
that helps out a lot because she again was sort of cut off cold turkey from it, and there is a chance that might kill her. And so she, with that over, that at least keeps her right as she is like coming off of it, and reduces like the risk of her
having such massive Cullen flashbacks. I want to cry.
Yeah. So that helps out a lot. She's able to like do things over the next week, like help train Garas and kick Garrus's ass. She does not hold back with you, Garas.
Good.
She has a lot of animosity towards like, again, your group in general. Again, and it's not like specific because she knows like what happened and understands the context and stuff, and you weren't really like blackmailing her. Like,
no, but she still deserves to be mad. I mean,
Yeah, totally.
that's fair.
Totally valid.
Yeah.
She's lost a lot because of this now, and her family.
We're not monsters. She should be
No, yeah.
pissed.
She should absolutely
Like,
be pissed.
Garrus 100% wants her to let out any kind of pent-up aggression that she has right now and just let it loose on him.
She does not go easy on you when dueling. She is very when you're training.
Sits in the corner in a chair drinking a Negroni, just having the time of her life.
Where'd you get the Negroni, Yas?
Carter
Made it for me.
Carter tilts his head slight to the side as like Garrus goes flying over his shoulder.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of like, you'll like you pick up your sword, or like she disarms you, you go to pick up your sword, she like slaps you with the brunt of the sword while you're going to pick yours up, like, don't let your guard down, like giving a lot of really
kicking.
hard. Yeah. Really, again, really not taking it easy on you at all. I think she probably gets a little like as the time goes on of you training, it probably is a little more productive as it continues and gives more pointers. But those first couple days are rough. So Garrus probably has a lot of bruises.
In light of Lucia's homelessness now, and Ty staying in my quarters, I was actually wondering, I don't know if we need to make a scene out of this, but we can if you want. I want to investigate how much it might cost to purchase one of the buildings. I mean, I'm imagining this area is kind of like an alleyway in like Paris where the buildings are all just, there's no space. It's like one building, multiple roofs sort of thing. How much it might cost to purchase the building next to us. Yeah, just to grow the size of the tavern.
Yes. That's a good point. There is I'm double checking because there is an area in the book that talks about home and hearth. There we go. So food and lodging. That's probably gonna be.
I mean, I'm imagining at the very least temporarily, Yaz has a fucking suite in the dorms, so
yeah, so
he could crash with her just as a starting point.
Yeah, so there's an area in this. Where is it? Maybe it's under rewards. Settles. I mean,
we can discuss it later. We don't have to have a resolution to it tonight.
We can talk about. I mean, it's something you can get some space for it in the time being. The amount of money that you're talking with to buy outright, and like if you wanted to like lease something, it's gonna be less expensive, but obviously like more expensive over time. If you want to actually like purchase some of the area around, so like permanently add on to the tavern, That might be closer to something you want to do with your earnings from the job as a whole, because you're going to be getting a lot of silver for that, and that would be a big thing to sort of invest in. I can come up with the number later on, because I think there was something in the book, but I don't see it. So maybe that wasn't actually included in there. So the last thing, we had one more scene on our list, and that was Venn talking to Amara again. So we can do that, and then if there was anything else, any other closing stuff that y'all want to do before we wrap up for today, then we can do that. So, Venn, you went to talk to Amara?
Venehn goes and gets a bottle of champagne. And
Okay.
2 fake glasses. They're not actually glasses. They're not actually made of glass, but they look like champagne glasses. And skulks around while Amara is like, I don't know, doing something. She's always on duty. She's always working. But while she's like doing something that's sort of less intensive, and tries to sneak up on her.
Okay, make a stealth check.
I have extra stealth because of my cool coat. 17.
Okay. I will say that is sufficient. You kind of sneak up behind. It doesn't seem, Amara's like on duty, like half kind of resting against a pillar, one of the columns in the house, while she is kind of carrying out her shift, and you sneak up behind her.
Cool guy walks around like the opposite side of the pillar that she's leaning on. Boo.
You know how much I hate it when you do that.
That's why I do it. I brought you something.
What?
Holds out the champagne. I heard you have a job offer.
So, Lady Richelieu told you? Potentially, if you hold up your end of the bargain.
Well, we all know how good I am at my job, so I figured maybe a tiny celebration is in order. You know, just in case you actually get the job.
Fine. You've caught me in a good mood.
This is the good stuff, so...
I'll be the judge of that. You tend to drink swill for the most part.
I would never force that swill upon a lady such as yourself.
You have, glasses, or are we drinking straight from the bottle?
Just pulls out 2 cups. They're like fake glasses. Like they're definitely like not glass. Because he
the
would have
fake
broken
plastic.
them. Yeah.
I don't know if they have that technology, but sure.
Listen. Magic can do a lot of things, okay?
Look, you don't know what elves can do. They could probably made something out of rubber trees.
Yeah. You hand a glass to her and fill it, and she kind of holds up. She says, "I suppose we need to toast."
Sure.
I guess to success.
And new beginnings.
Cheers. She downs hers in one. Hands the glass back to you.
Okay. I see we're not in a savoring kind of mood.
Well, I am on duty still, so I don't want...
Oh, whatever. Like a couple of glasses of champagne is going to make a dent. It just sort of knocks on her armor. It's just going to make a dent in this.
Still, I don't want to lose the job before I have it.
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask.
You seem particularly pleased with yourself today. Almost as if you have some level of confidence you're going to get this job.
Well, I can say a lot of things about you, Venehn. But you do have a certain knack for this sort of thing. I don't know. Perhaps I'm just optimistic.
I mean, I'd love to hear what else you have to say about me.
I'm sure you would.
You know, I'm good at my job. I'm good at a lot of things, and generally good at figuring people out. And yet you confuse me.
Why is that?
Because it doesn't matter what mood you're in, or what you seem to be fancying at the time, I can't figure out what you want. And that's not like most people.
Is everyone else really that easy?
I wouldn't call it easy. I would call it a thing that I've learned. There are only so many types of people. And you're not any of them.
And I'm sure you're just saying that to flatter me.
Please, Amara, people flatter me.
I know your type, Venehn. And I know your game.
Do you now?
Well, I wouldn't call you intelligent by any stretch.
No one ever has.
You know what to say to rile up emotion from people. And you're pretty enough to back it up.
I can't tell if you love that or hate that.
I despise it. She reaches out and grabs the bottle from you. And she like takes a longer swig from it and hands it back to you. And she says, as she like comes off of stops leaning on the pillar, and sort of straightens up, like she's going to continue on with her patrol. And she says, and I find you much more pleasant when you keep your mouth closed. And as long as you can do that, come by my room tonight.
Yes, Captain.
And she walks off.
Just sort of leaves the mostly empty champagne bottle just sitting by the column. Disappears into the night.
Jason Stackhouse, motherfucker.
That's who this is. This is Jason Stackhouse with an accent.
Yeah. The different accent. All right. We are running low on time. Is there any last thing anybody needs to do?
I go find Null and I punch him in the face. No.
And that is the last time you see Yas. She's taken off by the Ben Hassarath for reconditioning.
Bye,
For re-education.
Bye, son.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, that's where we'll call our session for tonight then. I don't have any stingers today.
I mean,
just pleasant vibes.
Ven getting laid. I mean,
That's kind of a stinger,
enough.
yeah.
Pretty good stinger.
That is a good one.
Yeah. So we'll call it there. And then I think next week we will pick up with the last leg of our grand heist here. With y'all going to the Winter Palace and heisting.
Everyone think about their outfits
Yeah.
beforehand.
Think
so
about
we
your
know.
outfits.
Oh, yes.
Like I haven't been for the last 6 weeks.
I've been thinking about it for a while.
And I will say, luckily, all of you are pretty are not really like weapon reliant. If you are trying to bring any weapons into the Winter Palace, that is going to be something we will need to discuss before.
The bow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to bring a bow into the Winter Palace.
It's a long bow. I mean,
So if there's any,
have
I want you
knives.
to think about that. You definitely won't be able to wear any armor. You definitely will. You probably can bring some weapons, but they're going to have to be concealable. So that may be something where you have to purchase some concealable weapons, like a small. If you want something ranged and you want like a small hand crossbow or something that you can smuggle inside, that would be
Probably
what
gonna do
we'd be
that.
looking at.
We'll see.
What about my really pretty fancy new staff?
So again, staves, and if it's like ornamental and you're bringing in, because again, you can be a mage and people aren't gonna like necessarily, like that is acceptable. People might question it. People might be a little distrustful. You can, if you have things that are ornamental and you want to like wear them proudly, that's something nobility do. But if you've got a rusty dagger or something, or a big longbow,
I have knives. I mean, the real question is throwing knives.
I mean, that's what Garas is going to be bringing, is throwing knives. So
Yeah,
I
I mean,
crossbow.
yeah. If you could think about it before next week, because we'll probably spend a little bit at the beginning, spending any of the coin that you have to, to get something that you might either be able to smuggle in or to, something a little glitzier that you can wear in.
We'll see. I might just go daggers for this.
Yeah, but again, this won't be as combat heavy. This will be a little more sneaky kind of stuff. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but there may be some things that you have to solve with violence, and you probably want to be prepared for that too. Could go lots of ways. But yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Let's go ahead and wrap up our session. We'll do our stars and wishes for the evening. Who wants to go first?
Me,
Okay.
Carter. Carter taking Venehn to dinner. That was so lovely. It was so wonderful and well thought out and just really great. It really got me. I loved it. And I wanted to get in before anybody else said it because I was there. No, I loved it. That was wonderful. It was when you pitched the scene to me, I was like, yes, absolutely, and it was everything that I thought it would be. So yes, wonderful. My wish is now going to be, I want to see. I have no preconceptions about how it will develop, but I do want to see how Venehn and Amara's relationship develops.
Okay.
However that may be.
That would be we'll have to see, because you're gonna have to do some persuading, I think,
I
for
feel
this to
like
be
I
any
did
more.
a lot of persuading today.
with
I know.
that dick.
Persuade her with your body.
No,
Interesting.
with showing up being like, hey, you seem really excited about this thing, and I thought we should celebrate it. Like,
yeah,
that's
that was smooth. Yeah.
Persuade
that's
that
nice.
ass.
I'll persuade that ass.
Oh boy.
More like she's persuading his ass, because there's no way he's in control of any of that. And you know what? He's fine with that.
Look, we love when Ben sips. We love when Ben sips.
That's all he does. That's all he does.
Oh boy.
Venehn, Asan, Simp, Alarian.
Yes. Simp
Yes,
is my second
Captain.
middle name.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you.
Val
Man.
desperately asking someone else to talk.
Somebody else go next.
I'll go next. I'm definitely giving my star to Sid for that moment of how she just went into the alleyway and just had that explosion of like rage, because we have never seen like Yasmera show any like she has emotions. She shows emotions, but we've never seen her lose her cool. And that was really awesome to see that the cracks in like the one thing that puts the cracks in her armor. And it's really cool to see that she had that moment of there is something that sets her off.
Family's a bitch.
My wish is I'm doing this. I'm echoing Van here. But I really want to see how Garas and Lucia's relationship develops from here, because it's
So what we're saying is both of your characters like to have their asses kicked by
pretty much,
powerful
yeah.
men.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
what-
That's kind of
Yes.
the way
I just
this is
wanted to
going.
clarify.
Oh,
get that
yeah.
across the board.
Yes,
No,
our
yes,
characters. Yes.
Yeah. Characters. This is not Wally. This is not
Characters.
Wally projecting his own feelings. No, not at
This
all
is-
whatsoever.
This is role play that's allowed on Twitch.
This is role play. Yes, role play. But yeah, that's my stuff there.
Wonderful. Sid.
As Val desperately asks someone else to talk.
Oh man, so many good fucking moments today. I mean, yeah, my star will go to fucking old man Garas. Jesus Christ.
I just did Van's Professor Skrillex's voice. That's all I did.
I mean, pretty much.
And I felt it and I loved it. He was in there.
Holy shit.
Yep.
He was,
He
in,
was in
there.
there.
He was peeking out.
Professor Skrillex was in there.
Yes, he was. Oh man. And Cedar, you're absolutely right. Wally could have gone on for in real time.
I wanted that.
We share that ability. We share that Skrillex spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Skrillex can possess you both, and it's amazing. Wish. Whoo. This is gonna be a very fun heist. Oh, you know, we prepared real hard for it. NBD. Now, addendums. NBD. No, I absolutely love it. It's gonna be juicy, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't make things too easy on y'all.
Of course.
It's always going to be a
Because
twist.
the last one was so easy.
The one thing you can guarantee is that it will
So
there will always be a twist.
I love it. Yes, all of that, please. Thank you. That's
You're welcome.
I was trying to come up with like a fun pun, like a fun combination of guarantee and Garas.
Now you just make Garas sound like Better Call Saul, and I don't know how I feel about that.
That's the Garas tea.
That's the Garas tea for you.
Well, Sita, bring us home.
Yeah, man, this is hard. Everybody was fucking awesome tonight. I think I'm also going to give one to Garas for getting to see a little bit of a serious side, and seeing his more perceptive and intuitive side, and kind of like breaking down with Lucia. Like you're upset because you lost everything. You know what I mean? You took all these risks and you lost. Really, I feel like you really read into her character really well there. I also want to give you a bonus point for saying that a guy with one eye gave a wink. I was trying to process that. Distracted me for a minute.
It's one of my favorite things, because I always forget that Garas has one eye, but then I always remember that he does. So it's like, yeah, he would do something where he winks, and people are like, Garas, are you blinking or are you winking?
Listen, a wink is a like very specific energy.
Yeah.
It's jaunty. It's
Mhm.
so even if I only have one eye, it's a thing.
Yeah. Like I have an eye patch right here. One day.
It's the intentionality.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also want to give bonus points out to Van for the what's the line? I am a sexy man. What was the line? I am a beautiful boy. I don't remember it, but you.
Oh, I am a beautiful man.
There was a point you missed an opportunity in that last. You could have said it a third time. I lost my mind over that. I really wanted you to say, "I am a beautiful man."
That would have been too easy.
I really wanted it in my heart.
That would have been too easy. Gotta leave him guessing.
That or Van just forgot.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Damn.
Golly.
Look, I can dunk on people too. I am capable of dunking. All right.
I've been dunked upon.
Lord.
Damn.
I Patrick
All
you
right.
in your ass.
It's fine. I like it.
I also gonna have to give a point to Yaz. Really, I'm just revocalizing what Wally said. That explosive wall punch was really cool. Because I've noticed that Yaz is almost as stoic as Carter 90% of the time, and getting to see a little bit of that was fucking cool. And I think my wish is for us at some point to have some sort of like actual compound / fortress / underground thieves guild kind of thing. Like maybe fortress is a little big, but I don't know. I just want us to have some more expansive space than just the tavern.
I mean,
Flat of solitude.
that would be an awesome thing to do. Because after this job, I'm imagining there will be like a little bit of downtime after you finish up, where y'all will have to like lay low for a while and wait till everything like blows over. If you wanted to spend your earnings to upgrade your guild,
Actually, I
here.
had a thought about that.
Oh,
I had
In that,
one
like,
too.
my patron probably like owns other properties and stuff in the city, so we could just like on the down low like inhabit one of those.
that works too. But yeah,
But
I
that would be
love
some
to work-
nice digs.
I would love to.
I could definitely get us a discount.
work something out there, because this job is definitely gonna put you on the map in one way or another.
But I would love for this like group of goobers to have like an extremely nice house that they're paying like the absolute lowest amount of rent for.
Rent control. Hey.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Awesome. Well, that is our time for tonight. So thank you everyone out there for watching. Like I said before,
Thank you for the game.
you're welcome. We'll be back next Monday to continue. Join us in the meantime. We've got streams all throughout the week if you want to check out the full lineup. Our schedules below our faces, live on Twitch always. If you're watching us on YouTube in the future, see whatever we're doing right now. Once you finish watching all 300 episodes of this show that are currently available on YouTube, in 2045.
Wow, someone
Looking-
should really update the YouTube.
Just think of it like this: 200 years from now, people will be looking back at all of our streams and being viewed as pieces of culture that has influenced history in some form or
Exactly.
fashion.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, for better, for worse.
Yeah.
But that is it. Thank you to my lovely players, as always, for making this game a joy to run and so much fun. We will see everyone in 1 week, and until next time, good game and good night, Internet.